right, so welcome to Conversations with Barrack Muluka, Dr. Barrack
And
Muluka,
Linda
and Linda
Alela.
Alela. Of course, I was going
Yes.
to say that. I mean, there's no way I can forget. You know, they say that if you earn a title, please let people give you that credit.
Well, many times we count and we say there are three people. Where is the fourth one? And you've forgotten yourself.
No, I cannot forget myself. I mean, that's the reason why I'm here. So I
Very
was just
good.
starting to say that it's Dr. Barrack Muluka, then I come to Linda Alela.
Yes, I understand you are on your way towards becoming a doctor.
I must. You know, when you sit with people of this level, you cannot help but work towards that.
Beautiful. Yeah, so here we are, Linda.
You know,
And
it's been a week.
yes, we have lost the MP for Emurua
Dikir.
Dikir.
Yeah.
Yes, his soul rest in eternal peace,
Yeah, no.
as well as the people who are with him.
Yeah.
There is war in the Middle East.
It's unfortunate. Is that in the Middle East or even it's
Gulf?
war in the country?
In the
Literally.
country?
I mean, across the world.
Yes.
It's a global space, clearly.
Are we witnessing the makings of the Third World War?
It's difficult not to argue that way. Because, I mean, when you look at the way things are panning out,
Yes.
and you know these ones are the key players, you must get worried.
And Kenya seems to be groping for space.
Well, I
within
don't
that,
know.
Within that war.
You know, I saw what the president said in reaction to that. I equally saw what the ambassador of Iran said in
Yes.
relation to that. And I begin getting worried.
That-
Should we have just taken a back seat to watch? Is it possible for a country to just look at how things are happening and not
Or
say a
maybe
thing?
this is the time for President William Ruto to demonstrate that he's a very strategic non-NATO ally of the United States of America.
Right.
I suppose that's what he's doing. If you listened to him carefully, he was condemning the attacks against the allies of the United States of America, Qatar,
Right.
Saudi, and such other places, Yemen. But he did not condemn the attack against Iran.
It's just...
Okay, so it was very clear, and I'm not deceived when I hear the Iranian ambassador says, no, Kenya is a friendly state and it's not a legitimate target.
Until...
Well, until, and until we have already gotten to that until space,
Yeah.
where overtly, perhaps even covertly, we have supported the assault against Iran. And we become a legitimate target.
Wow. I guess that is not the subject of the day, but we must.
But
it's important for us to, it's critical
we
that
must spend a bit of time there.
On that.
Yeah, because we are talking about nuclear arms proliferation.
Yeah.
And we are talking about it in a blind-sided manner, where we would look at Iran as an offending party, that they are activating nuclear energy. And although they say that it is for purposes of domestic use, maybe for industrial use,
the world must get worried.
Well, it would, although it shouldn't, because the ones who are telling them that do not activate nuclear energy,
they have
massive nuclear energy.
But they have activated at some point.
They have activated. They were the first to do so.
Yeah.
They developed that capacity soon after the World War II in 1948. They were already there. 1952, Israel was already there. The United Kingdom, Great Britain was already there.
Yeah.
USSR, they were already there in the first 5 years after the World War II. And we remember the 70s and the 80s were the age of the arms race in earnest. But as they were arming, as they were accumulating arms, they were also talking about strategic arms limitation.
Right.
And we had the so-called SALT treaties, SALT 1, SALT 2. I guess there was also SALT 3, Strategic Arms Limitation Treaties. And when they were no longer working, then the United States went out full blast to accumulate, okay? And as they were accumulating,
Right.
The Soviet Union also went out full blast to accumulate. Unfortunately for the Soviet Union, they could not match the NATO capacity.
Yeah.
And that led to the weakening of the Union and to the collapse of the Soviet Union and to the end, so to speak, of the Cold War. But we now have entered another season of a Cold War.
I think, like as they would say, this is a classic example of what we say that history repeats itself. Just that we are worried or we are concerned or we would love to know from you who understand history just where this ends. In essence, do we say that now it's another world war in the making, like you started by asking? Or should we say that, of course, the nations are stable and strong enough to understand that they really do not want to take themselves into that dungeon, and therefore there's going to be a bit of control? One thing that we ask today is, there's this 50-50 thing. Is this Ayatollah Khamenei really dead? I mean, is it really happening in this time and age? And just what does it mean? How far can they stretch this?
It depends on the people who are at the very top, their philosophies. Donald Trump arrived saying he wanted to make America great again, by which he seems to have been saying he would like to export war, to see proxy wars. You know, one of the characteristics of the Cold War of 1945, 1990 were proxy wars. The two main antagonists, the Soviet Union and the United States, never quite confronted each other face to face. But there were proxy wars in Korea, proxy wars in Vietnam, proxy wars in Angola, in Mozambique, proxy wars in the Middle East. And we are seeing a bit of that. We are also seeing that the United States is now being directly involved in the actual bombardment of those who are considered to be their adversaries. In the past, they only supplied weapons. We are also seeing that a country like Kenya is craving, the current leadership in Kenya is craving for
the attention, if not
attention and active participation. If we are going to have more people doing that, then we are going to be in a very bad place. Look at what the United States has just declared about Rwanda, that certain top military guys and the entire Rwandese military are under sanctions from the United States. They are supposed to be our brothers and partners here in the East African community. You know, people get into war spaces for different reasons. If Rwanda does not have the capacity to engage the United States, they will look next door and find out who they could deal with.
And then they find that Kenya is looking on this other side towards where the United States.
So anyway, as you say, that's not the topic for the day.
Maybe we should crunch it someday. I mean, it looks like it's quite something of significance that really we need to get deep and deep into understanding it, because then one would want to understand just where and why would the U.S. now be right at the heart of it and not even support in form of, like you rightfully say,
yes, and it's about hegemonies. As you correctly say, I think we should just have a special day dedicated to that. I would like to look at this within the framework of what Abraham Fimo Organiski calls the power transition theory, that when a hegemon is being overtaken by new hegemons, there is every likelihood of a wide-scale war. And we can see that the American hegemon is under threat from the BRICS and especially from China. Could this be one way of trying to preempt China from occupying certain very strategic spaces? How is China going to respond? You've seen that they are saying, the global media, that now to hire a super ship to ferry oil and gas from the Middle East, from the Gulf countries to China, the price has gone up by 200%.
You know, we should get worried that maybe in the near future we'll be paying a lot of money for a liter of, say,
yes,
petrol.
and it's going to catch up, not just with China, but with us here. Your fuel pump cost is going to rise.
Right.
The cost of manufacture is going to rise. The cost of transportation of goods is going to rise. The cost of everything is going to shoot up. So this is not a detached foreign thing. It is something that is with us here.
Okay.
It's something not to be wished for. Finally, about the ambassador, when he says we are friends, they have no issues with us, what did you expect him to say?
He would definitely say that.
But we wait and see.
And for a moment, I wanted to ask myself, for a president of any other nation, what would be the right thing to do? Keep silent in such a moment?
In the
Say what, really?
In the past, Linda, we had the decoy that was called the non-aligned movement.
Yeah.
And we said that we were non-aligned and positively neutral, although of course the leanings were quite clear for each and every country in Africa. Now we are not non-aligned. We have been defined as a non-NATO ally, a strategic non-NATO ally of the United States of America. And so we are, without mincing words, a legitimate target.
Clearly. We wait to see, but like Dr. said, we cannot wish these conversations away. We must stay alert to understand what's happening around the world that trickles down to us. But Dr. let's now bring it home, closer home. And we had a delay of setting up the commission of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, or the IEBC. And then eventually we got it. One of the biggest problems that we had, apart from setting of boundaries, was that there are some constituencies, there are some wards that lacked representation because, of course, of various reasons. And for a long time, there were some constituencies that actually stayed for close to 2 years without representation. And this, constitutionally, we know is not correct. Fast forward, we set up a commission of the IEBC, and then luckily we get to have mini polls across these different parts. Mini polls, number one, sometime last year, 2025 in November. And then recently we had mini polls. That was sometime last week. And while mini polls might be looked at as some just basic things, as spaces of politics, reality is that their impact is profound in shaping what the nation is like politically, and especially at this point when we're headed to the 2027 general election. Look at the mini polls recently, appearing to work in favor of ODM, UDA, Kenya Kwanza government, perhaps the government of the day, the broad-based government. Many polls that we saw very many other parties, fronting their very own candidates. What does it speak when you look at the mini polls and the performance down on ground of different parties, vis-a-vis what is likely to play out in 2027?
Look, in these conversations, Linda, we flatter ourselves with the thought that we say it as it is.
Right.
We don't mince words. So let's not mince words. This is a wake-up call to the political opposition.
Right.
I have seen how the political opposition has responded, saying, oh, IBC this, IBC that, UDA something here, UDA something else there. Okay? They are talking about rigged elections, stolen elections. There is that possibility.
Yeah.
But let's not mince words. Let's tell the political opposition that you are being called to order. This is a reality check. That if you continue in the manner in which you have been subsisting so far, you are going to be licked clean. This is what is called early warning
Signs.
And when you have seen early warning signs, you go back to the drawing boards to ask yourself some very, very honest questions. What is ailing the political opposition, as it calls itself, united opposition or united alternative government? What is ailing them? What is ailing them, in my view, is disunity. This is a paradox. An entity that calls itself united, and yet everything it does, apart from going to rallies together, shows disunity. Even in those rallies, when you listen carefully, you hear the rumbling of disunity. You cannot possibly be confronting a strong adversary and you're getting there segmented.
Right.
That you go to a ward in Mbere, which is supposed to be an opposition stronghold, and you are being licked. And the reason you are being licked is because there are 3 different parties in the opposition fielding candidates in that ward. You go to a ward in Northeastern, a ward in Kakamega, and we are doing the same. You are going to be beaten hands down.
But I thought I saw many of them saying that, okay, in this area, it looks like it's a stronghold of DCP. Let us allow DCP to front a candidate. In this area, it appears like it's a stronghold of, say, Jubilee. Let us allow Jubilee to front a candidate. At least they tried to do a lot of that.
They need not just to try to do it. They need to just just do it.
Yeah.
They need also to imbue, first of all, themselves with something bigger than themselves as individuals who are saying, Kasongo lied to me, Kasongo mistreated me, and therefore it is my turn to be president. They need to go beyond things like saying that I have sacrificed so much, I have allowed other people to run in the past, now it is my turn to run. No, that does not resonate with the electorate, that kind of elite power bargaining. They need to touch the felt issues, the burning questions of the day, and front themselves as a movement that is addressing those things and get Kenyans to resonate with them, Kenyans to feel like these people, when I hear them speaking, I see myself there. They're not doing that.
I'm worried as a Kenyan, Doc, because I see the same faces that I have seen for very many years in the opposition, in the united opposition. Perhaps the same faces that you would say got us into the troubles that we are in today. Because if you're going to talk about Rigathi Gachagua, he installed the current government. If you're going to talk about the likes of Fred Matiang'i, he was part and parcel of the Jubilee government that many Kenyans argued, Malizeni Muende. You know, if you're going to talk about the likes of Martha Karua, well, done well in her space, but as well, every time people talk about her, we remind ourselves of the 2007, 2008 concerns that we carried, and so many other faces within the united opposition. And also the biggest question then would be, in an era where coalitions are the in thing, is this the best coalition to root out Ruto? Sometime, maybe like 2 years ago, the one term, or maybe 2024, the one term voice was quite huge. But as we near 2027, you get to hear that, saa kumi na mbili, they will have rooted out, Ruto will have rooted these people out because they do not seem to be organized like you rightfully put it. And then now you ask yourself, really, indeed, no matter how much we want to overlook the by-elections, they look like they are a critical barometer to what will play out in 2027, this very by-elections. But my question is, if still the one-term voice is as massive as it were some time back, if really it's going to be a one-term for President William Ruto, and you get to see just how much UDA, ODM, the side that is in support of the broad-based government, is clinching or is getting some of these seats. If the same were to happen in 2027, such that we have, MCAs and we have, members of parliament who are largely on the UDA and ODM ticket, they are elected. But then, of course, at the top level, maybe they successfully manage to root out President William Ruto. What will it be like, for the person who will have won to govern a nation? A hung parliament, for instance, is something that has cost the countries like Britain a lot of trouble over the years, even in the latest occurrences, 2010, sometime 1929's there and all about. This is the little history that I get to read. Just how much more difficult would it be for a nation like Kenya to manage it? And you saw with President William Ruto, when there was that conversation of who is the majority, minority in parliament, until he had to bring in this side, it was very difficult for him to actually govern the nation. So all these shenanigans get me wondering, what kind of politics are we playing as a nation? And just how much can it guarantee the people of Kenya, a scenario where they're going to get development at the end of the day? Because you don't want a scenario where now they're in parliament, and then now they have to form coalitions within parliament so that, a certain presidency can govern.
I think there's nothing wrong essentially with alliances and coalitions. It is a matter of why they are formed and what they seem to be doing.
Yeah.
William Ruto got there on a limping wicket, and he moved very quickly to raid the opposition ranks and eventually to capture Parliament, so that Parliament is now hostage to State House, and it no longer serves the interests of the people. He even zeroed in on individual MPs who became directly answerable to him, paying allegiance to him, not even through a movement, not through a party or anything like that. It would be nightmarish. But let's flip that coin a little bit, Linda, shall we? And look at it from a different perspective.
Right.
Maybe this thing that we call the united opposition, just maybe that is not the opposition that William Ruto is going to face in August next year. I think when I look through I look into the crystal ball and I look through the lenses properly, I see the possibility of new politics versus legacy politics.
Okay.
New politics versus legacy.
So these oldies that we have seen for long?
Yes, all these fellows, whether they are in the united opposition, whether they are in the broad-based mongrel, as William Ruto would call it. I think if Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga had come up and said, we have formed a broad-based government, William Ruto would have referred to it as a broad-based mongrel.
Mongrel, yeah.
So whether these people are in the broad-based mongrel or whether they are in the united opposition, there's a common factor, the lowest common factor, as we would say in mathematics, is that they are legacy politicians. They are coming from a common space in the past.
Right.
And it's because of that coming from a common place in the past that they look like mirror images of one another in terms of their behavior and the political competition that they offer themselves and that they bring to the public space. It is a competition of I am the best. I'm going to share power with
Power.
you. It is not a competition of power to the people, competition of sovereignty of the people. And so I see the possibility that if the ODM dissenters get their act together,
Okay.
then they are going to constitute the vanguard of the opposition that William Ruto is going to be subjected to.
So these are the Sifunas, the Babus, Rengos.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
that
That's
movement
okay.
that is emerging out of ODM, and that movement that has got the soul and the spirit of ODM as we have traditionally known it. See, ODM as a political party is not the certificate. It is not the secretariat. It is not Oginga. It is not even Sifuna. It is a movement
Yeah.
of vision, a visionary movement that has conceived a certain notion of the kind of nation that Kenya should become, the Kenya we want.
Yeah.
And that Kenya we want does not exist in what you are seeing around Oburu Oginga and William Ruto in their broad-based affair.
That one is a business of power.
It's a business of power. They want power because they cannot do without power.
But how do they shamelessly, and I'm sorry I'm cutting you line of thought, how do these politicians shamelessly just, look at us and they tell us it's about, and they, literally categorically said it straight that it's about, us getting deputy president and many other seats down there. And the other side, it's presidency and all that. What really you would not expect to come out of them. Sometimes they say it, sell to us wongo, instead of looking at us in the eyes and telling us that this is our main target. And it's true, political parties are formed to actually, get power. So it would be absurd for us to imagine that that is not the mission, even of the current, crop of Sifunas and all that. But how do you outrightly tell the people that? And worst is that there are some people who actually buy into that. And they will go ahead to vote these people because this power conversation did not just begin the other day. But look again at the by-elections. We seem to be very act by some of these utterances, these targets, yet we go ahead and vote the same people.
A political power elite, once it has bargained, it will come back to the people for validation, unless the people are politically conscious enough that they are sufficiently awake to know that they are being used as gunpowder. These fellows are not pretending at all. They are saying they want to be deputy president, they want this ministry and that ministry. They are not saying what they want to use that for the people. Yes, it is true, as you correctly say, that it is about competing to capture and exercise power. But I keep taking us back to the Gettysburg address of Abraham Lincoln, where he states very clearly that it is for the government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Yeah.
That I keep going back to Article 1 of the Kenyan Constitution.
Sovereignty.
That the sovereignty reposes with the people. And so when you are asking to be elected, you come to Article 2, that the people can exercise that sovereignty through their elected leaders and representatives. So you do not go there to acquire that power for purposes of self-gratification, for purposes of saying that I have sacrificed so many times, so let me be the one to be the president. You don't get there saying that Kasongo has dealt me a raw deal and therefore I want to take this thing from him. You go there talking about the people. Linda Mwananchi. Now the task that Edwin Sifuna and co have is to explain clearly what they mean by kulinda mwananchi. They must now crack this thing open and bundle it so that Kenyans can see what is in it. And if Kenyans will see what is in it, then the rest in August next year, the rest beginning now going forward, becomes a race between the legacy politicians and the new politicians. It becomes a race between the people and the cartels. And when you look at those two formations so far, they wear the character of cartels.
Okay.
Now this is what Sifuna and co must come out and tell Kenyans. And as they come out to tell Kenyans this, they must be careful of something called internal attrition. Internal attrition, negative internal competition.
Within themselves.
And I have seen the early signs of that.
Why do you say so?
I've seen the early signs because when you look at the notices that they send out there, if it is one individual sending it out, you can look at the graphics and you see his image is bigger than the others. You know, I work in the communications space, so I understand the psychology of communications and psychology of messaging. You look at the poster that has been sent and you see a certain individual
is bigger than the
rest. That Babu Owino is, for example, bigger than...
Slightly bigger than...
Not slightly.
Bigger than...
Clearly, decidedly. Go back to the social media and look at those images. He's bigger even than Orengo, who is supposed to be their coach.
Right.
He's bigger than Sifuna, who is the SG.
Osotsi.
He's bigger than Osotsi,
who is the deputy party
leader. He's bigger than Caleb Amisi, who is some kind of national official.
But is it not? Is Babu Owino not bigger than these people when you look at now ground? Because Babu Owino, we are now going back to the ground.
He probably is. I don't know. He probably is.
Probably thought bigger than Sifuna at some point.
But therein reside the seeds of internal attrition. When people start thinking that I'm the big one. And some of us were around in the early 90s when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was feeling he was the big one.
Then there was
Matiba. Matiba was feeling he was the big one. And they started pulling in different directions.
The Foda Silis and the Kenyas.
Then you recall from our earlier conversations here that we have said these people have adversaries in government and they have adversaries outside government.
So they will take.
And it is not beyond this government to help those seeds of internal discord to mature, to germinate, and to grow into a crop that then diffuses, destroys, and scatters the internal solidarity. What is the solution, therefore?
Yes.
They should seek to create a movement. They should have a bigger dream than the individuals themselves. The pelican, you know the bird called the pelican. The pelican pricks its breast to suck out blood to feed its chicks. They must take the pelican approach. They must be the pelican. I'm giving them a free symbol. A free symbol again that they can use for their movement. Where we, the citizens, are the chicks, and they are pricking themselves to remove their blood to feed the chicks. Now, if they do that, the movement becomes greater than the individuals.
Yeah.
And it does not matter which individual they will give us. Kenyans, especially the Gen Zs and the millennials, will vote for that movement.
And as they would say, there comes a time when the nation is bigger.
Yes.
So this movement is bigger, the nation is bigger than individuals within themselves, within that crop. But of course, definitely that then would mean they manage the situation of the country. But again, back to what it is that we are discussing. I am curious to understand, because, they say that one day in politics is such a long time. It's like 1,000 years and all that. But when you look, you almost feel like timelines, the pressure. These other ones, have advantage of having prepared themselves good enough. When you are in government, when you're an incumbent, you are literally manning the nation, you are running the nation, but at the same time, you're preparing yourself for the next election so that you can secure the seat back. So these ones appear to, I don't know whether they've been long enough, cooking something, but from what it is that we see, the public eye, is that they have just landed. How do they get to pick lessons from the political events that have been shaping up over the years, from the time, of course, from the time we got this government on board, so that they do not make the same mistakes? I think you were talking about that the other time, just how critical it is for political parties or individuals who are politicians to learn from the mistakes of others, so that they don't get to do the same mistakes to fall. And so if they're going to look at the ground, if they're going to look at, getting to morph this, movement into something bigger for the nation to get impressed, how do they, for instance, take caution of what has played out in the by-elections? Because, well, for sure, the movement itself is not even under a certain party. You would want to say that it's still under ODM, but we all understand that eventually this is not going to be the case if they're going to go their way. And perhaps maybe Sifuna says, well, done and dusted with this case of, him maintaining the Secretary General position in ODM. So how do they look into what has played out, in the by-election moments, so that they can prepare themselves for the ground, come 2027? Because like we say, time is coming when they will have to begin telling people, give us the sixth tire, make sure that when you go to vote, you look at the presidency, you look at the gubernatorial position, senatorial position, you look at the women representatives, members of parliament, and ultimately the members of county assembly. Please, Kenyans, give us that, because that is the only way that we can proceed to serve you better as a people. So how do they pick the lessons out of this? Aseme basi, united opposition is asleep. Let us craft our own path so that then we learn from these lessons, and then we come 2027, we don't just have a movement, but we have a movement that is fully fledged and fully supported,
Yes, the by-elections, I think, were good for the ODM dissenters because it positions them in the public eye, maybe as the alternative that the united opposition is calling itself, because the united opposition is featuring itself as an inefficient walkover, being beaten left, right, and center. So those who are dissatisfied with the broad-based affair of William Ruto and Oburu Oginga begin casting their sights around and asking, so is this it? Is it the end? Or what happens? So it's up to the leaders of the dissenting ODM voices to occupy space.
Yeah.
And they're not going to occupy space by saying things like, we are not talking to the media. You have seen that,
yes,
have you not?
It's difficult to get them for an interview, in all honesty. Most of the media people will tell you that. And sometimes I wonder, where do they want to speak to Kenyans
I'll
from?
tell them for free, you must be visible. If you are not visible, you are going to disappear. and you'll be like a piece of oil that has been put into a hot frying pan.
In fact, one of them
And
told me this. You invite them for an interview and they tell you, of course, I have the privilege of working in other spaces of the
yes.
media. And you invite them for an interview and they tell you, I am worried because once I'm out of that studio, they will abduct me or maybe the DCI will come for me.
Oh, my
Bro,
goodness.
you have been on the campaign trail for crying out loud and you're actually a leader.
We speak the truth to power every day. And power likes listening to the truth. Come out, speak the truth to power. It is one of your constitutional rights and freedoms.
Yeah.
And if power thinks that because of that it should abduct you, so be it.
Okay.
Yeah? You cannot go into that space and become also a coward.
You must be sure that
You must.
this is not a...
We didn't send you there to be a coward. Yeah? So speak or get out of that kitchen. If it is too hot, get out of it.
Yeah.
But let me assure Edwin Sifuna, because I've heard him being quoted several times, that he is not ready to speak to the media.
Unfortunately.
I will give him this one for free, that he is going to wither away into irrelevance. He must come out and break things down to the people. He must also have around him a team of competent message and vision bearers who will come and speak before he has spoken.
Right.
He can safely stay in the background because each time he speaks as the symbolic leader of this movement, then they have reached the apex. And if he blunders, they have no room for correction. But allow other people to come out and do their messaging, a message that has been workshopped. I hope they have experts there.
I certainly hope so too.
Who are helping them to workshop the messages.
They had better figure themselves out very fast.
That they have their talking heads, as we say in this space, who come out and help to broadcast that message so that Kenyans get to resonate with them, that they do not look like a mirage that we walk towards and then it disappears.
And I agree to that, Doc, because the kind of voter apathy, again, we have witnessed in this moment of by-elections is worrying. And therefore, the only way they can get Kenyans, at least in this short time, first of all, to ensure that they register. And when it comes to 2027, they come out in large numbers.
Indeed.
It's basically the messaging that
Indeed.
you are talking about.
Indeed.
There must be someone who tells us, there's actually hope. There's reason to wake up at 6 a.m. to go and queue and make sure that you actually cast that vote. Because apathy is rife.
Indeed.
Based on what we have seen.
They must galvanize us, make us feel like we don't even want to go home to sleep. That we want the
We cannot wait for 2027.
dawn to find us in the polling center, ready to cast our vote, and not just that, but protect it.
Right.
So they have to break this thing down. We have to understand what it is, what they stand for. We have to buy into the movement, and we have to tell the movement that give us anybody.
Yeah.
We will vote for that person. They must push this movement up to a point where if one or two individuals leave, we consider them to be the Judas Iscariots, and that they have left. We remain focused on the movement and what it stands for.
Right.
Not individuals. Any other individual who is within that space and whom they hoist up, that the nation is able and willing to follow. And we don't just follow them, that they galvanize us to go out and vote. Look at Raila Odinga. He was very popular in many parts of the country, but there was no galvanization of the voter, that when they see the crowds,
they assume that this will translate to vote.
Yes, this crowd here, what basis do you have to conclude that it has votes and that it will turn out to vote and that it will vote for you? That Kasongo will not appear 2 days to the polling day to buy identity cards from...
And it's not just Kasongo, it's every other politician. They actually tell them, we buy votes. Sometimes they are told, Kujeni Kopombe, and then they are taken to drink and drink and drink. The next morning, they cannot wake up. And that is politics. That's strategy, actually.
So the bottom line is, do they have organization?
They must have organization.
Do they have structures?
And this cuts across all parties.
Do they have a roadmap?
Yeah.
Do they have stages on that roadmap? Are they able to incrementally measure the achievements and say, before we went to Busia, we were here. And after Busia, we were here. Now, before we went to Kitengela, before we went to Kakamega. And it's not just in terms of the marketplace conversations.
Yeah.
And even marketplace conversations are important. Are you monitoring them?
There are people who've done door to door. I remember Obama doing door to door.
What are the people saying? You remember Jesus Christ?
What are the people saying? I am, right?
Yes.
And then they say...
What are the people saying? We are.
We are.
Who are they saying?
Not just Sisi ni Sifuna and it ends there.
And what are the people doing? And you have instruments of measuring that.
Right.
And getting feedback. The broad-based people have NSIS, and they have other forms of gathering intelligence.
I don't know what the United Opposition has. It's interesting. Dr. We're supposed to get out of this space.
Yes.
Before we get out of this space, again, the by-elections, what do they signify of the solidness, if that is an English word, of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission? I still feel like they have a long way to go in terms of convincing Kenyans. If they do not put their house together, it is important for them to note that as new and fresh as they may be, they are in for massive court cases thereafter.
Maybe. I'm not very certain, however, with regard to the just ended by elections. The November ones clearly showed very serious gaps.
Right.
They allow people to bribe voters openly. They do nothing about it. That you see a lot of irregularities, there's arson, there's what, and they have the powers to call off the election in some constituency or in some ward.
Which they didn't.
They really need to wake up. However, the opposition must get its house in order first. Those who seek justice must come with clean hands.
Okay.
They must be able to demonstrate that they have been
played
sinned against.
Yeah.
When Raila Odinga and Azimio went to the Supreme Court,
boxes and boxes of...
They were not able to demonstrate how the election was stolen. They were not able to say that these are the correct figures.
Right.
And these figures that we have been given, therefore, are wrong. You must get there with a solid case, with clean hands, which they're not capable of doing. But that arena is becoming very interesting, and certainly we will be watching it.
We will be watching. Like it or not, the by-elections, or the recent by-elections, the very, very recent one, the November ones, have certainly shaped the public discourse towards the 2027 general election. How you take this information or this results and, work it around your favor, especially as a politician, is up to you. And when we're talking about politicians, we're also talking about Kenyans. It is you to go out there and choose and elect politicians that really serve your need. And what Dr. Harry says is basically going to be about what it is that they tell us, how they get to convince us, because at the end of the day, we must get a leadership that is pro-Kenyans.
So I hear you to be inviting the viewers to keep it here, to watch us,
101%,
to subscribe. And of course, when we are not here, we are also with our friend and our brother, Professor Herman Manyora.
You are speaking, well, I am somewhere else, of course, TV 47.
Ah, yes, I'm on TV 47.
And sometimes I get to invite you a lot, so
yes,
I watch you with Prof a lot.
Look out for us on TV 47. We will be there pretty soon.
You do not want to say that you did not get information. This information is out here. We're giving it for free. You would be paying for consultancy.
So when you blunder,
it's up to you. Even as a voter.
Whether you are the political, operative, wherever you are, watch here.
Talking Straight, conversations with Dr. Barrack Muluka and I, or me, Linda Alela. I know I'm going to be taught some English thereafter to be told whether it's an I or
yes, we are the subject.
So
since we are the subject, it should be an I.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right. So there you go. I think we close it at this point today. Please subscribe.
Thank
That's
you.
pretty cool.
Thank you.
See you around next time.